All right, guys. So I am in the Savas curriculum. Okay, just using this for some examples and stuff to show you. You guys can have access to this. But for this is 2.2. So we're into 2.2. It's proving lines that are parallel. And so for this, we're kind of doing the opposite of what we just did. So what we just did is we knew that the lines were parallel, and we figured out what angles were congruent or supplementary. Now, what they're going to tell us is if um, if alternate interior angles are congruent, then we're going to have these parallel lines, okay? So, like, let's say for alternate interior, these could be alternate interior, okay? If we know those two angles are congruent, then we know that L is parallel to M, okay? Now, that holds true for if corresponding angles, all right? So I'm over here now, corresponding angles. So we could have something like this angle and this angle, all right? If the corresponding angles are congruent and shown there, then we know that the lines are parallel. So we're working backwards. Before lines were parallel, we knew the angles were congruent. Now we're saying the angles are congruent. What lines are parallel, okay? And for a problem like this, it's pretty straightforward, but we'll get into more where there's more transversals and everything, and it looks uglier. But for right now, I just want you to get the basics. So again, alternate exterior would be something like this. So if those two angles are congruent, L is parallel to M. And then if same side interior angles are supplementary. So let's say this angle is 50 degrees, this angle is 130 degrees, then hey, those two lines are parallel. All right. Now, if you notice, so let's go back, let's do alternate interior, okay? Alternate interior is right here. I'm talking about these two angles. This is where when you have multiple transversals, sometimes it's hard to see which lines are parallel, okay? And so in doing this, what I try and do is to locate the transversal first, all right? So find the vertex of the angle. So I'm going to do that. We'll find the vertex. We'll make it blue. The vertex is going to be blue here for both of those. Do you guys see how the vertex intersects the transversal at 2 points, okay? So it hits the transversal at 2 points. So we have our transversal here, all right? The blue dots hit that at 2 points. So that's how I find our transversal, okay? You find the vertex of the angle, whatever line hits both of the vertices, that's your transversal. Now, the other lines are going to be your parallel lines. So it hits those two vertices, hit the transversal twice. L and M only intersect one of the vertexes of those angles. So that's how I kind of find that. All right, guys. So I want to do some problems with you because I think that's the best way since you guys kind of know what these angles are. You know the definitions and everything. So again, going back, got some practice problems here. So for this, okay, it says use the diagram. If 1 is congruent to 7, what theorem can you use to show that M is parallel to N? Okay, so it tells you that 1 is congruent to 7. So over here, 1, 7. Hopefully we see that those are on the outside, okay? And this is where if I use the whole vertex trick, K is going to be the transversal, all right? I know that M is going to be parallel to N. Those are on the outside of M and N. They're on opposite sides of that transversal K, so it's going to be alternate exterior, so it's going to be C. All right, so the next one, it says use the given information to determine which lines, if any, are parallel. Justify with the theorem, okay? So it says 5 is congruent to 10. So I'm going to mark angle 5 down, and I'm going to mark angle 10 down. They're congruent. And then I'm going to put a little dot at their vertex. That tells me that V is the transversal. that tells me that S and R are the parallel lines, all right, because V hits those dots twice. R and S just intersect the dots once. So, and from looking at that, once I kind of get that picture, I can tell that they're just matching angles. So what we said was matching, 10 matches up with 5 if we just picked it up and set it right on top of there. So that's going to be corresponding. That's going to be C. All right. So the next one, it says 3 is going to be congruent to 9. So 3 congruent to 9. Put the little dot. That tells me that M is the transversal. That tells me that J and K are the parallel lines. And also these are both inside that hallway. So we're inside the hallway. So, and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So alternate interior angles. So B. All right. So for this one, it says that 3 is supplementary to 6. That if anything's supplementary, it's going to be a big clue that it's either not enough information because it's none of our 4 angle pairs, alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, or same side interior. So it's either not going to be one of those 4 or it's going to be same side interior. So let's look. We have 3 and we have 6. So if we have 3 and we have 6, okay, here we go. Vertex right there, and it's going to be the transversal. X and Y are going to be parallel. So for this one, it's going to be A, X and Y, same side interior angle theorem. Now, if it was something like, hey, they told you 2 and 3, and they didn't tell you anything about 6, so I'm just kind of like reworking the problem here. So if instead they said, hey, angle 2 and angle 3 are supplementary, that would tell you nothing because you don't know anything about these 4 angles. You don't know anything about these 4 angles, okay? So just be aware of that. All right, so moving on. So guys, this one says find the measure of each marked angle, assume the lines are parallel. So this is just a little bit using algebra to solve these problems. So all you have to do is, for this, hopefully you're not telling me that these angles are congruent, because they're not. They're same side interior angles, all right? We know that these lines are parallel, okay? And so we're going to say x plus 5 plus 9x minus 35 equals, since they're supplementary, because they're same side interior, it's going to equal 180. So we combine like terms for 10x. 5 minus 35 is going to be negative 30. So once we do that, then we are going to say that 10x minus 30 equals 180. So from there, we can add 30. So we are going to add 30. So 10x equals 180 plus 30 is just going to be 210. So and then we're going to divide by 10, divide by 10. All right, and 210 divided by 10 is going to be 21. All right, so x equals 21, and then we just have to plug it back in. So that's where you take that x equals 21, and you do 21 plus 5, and you do 9 times 21 minus 35. All right, so that's how you finish that one out, okay? But I think we can do that simple calculation. So the next one, it says, if lines R and S are parallel, then find the measure. It tells you that the measure of angle 1 is 70 minus x. The measure of angle 2 is 82 minus 2x. So for this one, this is where you're just going to figure out what type of angles these are. They kind of match up. If you can tell, like we just cut it in half, dump them on top, they're going to be the same thing. So we're going to take this 70 minus x, and we're going to set it equal to 82 minus 2x, and then we're going to solve here. So I'm going to bring the 2x over here and make that x, and I'm going to subtract the 70 and make that 12. X equals 12. We're done. Okay. So that is it, guys. If you have any more questions, please let me know or ask them in class. All right. Have a good rest of your day.